to praise God. So there are different times, different ways, at different moments when you praise God. So the rabbis felt that it's important to make this affirmation, especially when people are mourning and they feel like, where was God? What happened? Why I lost my beloved? So there is like this doubt about why should I believe in God? So this is the affirmation that even in times of sorrow, in times of loss, God should be praised.
But when they do the half Kaddish and the full Kaddish, the people who have lost people don't stand up?
No.
Really?
The standing, it's another thing that we can talk. Keep asking and we'll answer the different questions. So, standing on the mourner's Kaddish. This is a tradition, it's not a law. It's not written anywhere. So why mourners usually stand? The idea is that the congregation can acknowledge and says, oh, and they can go and express their sympathies and embrace them and make them feel, So that's the idea. In many congregations, and we had this last week when we joined with the Reform with NCRT, their tradition is everybody rises. Because especially after the Holocaust, many people, they don't have anybody to say Kaddish for. So in some traditions, they feel it's appropriate everybody to stand and recite Kaddish for people who have nobody to say recite Kaddish. So we were discussing this during the week, and we feel like either way. We had this conversation with the rabbi, and the problem, that is nice. We feel strongly that it's nice, but on the other hand, you miss the people who are reciting Kaddish. So sometimes we do, for example, this week was the anniversary yesterday of a horrible bombing in Argentina of the Israeli embassy. 20-something people were killed, so the rabbi very graciously said, let's all stand and support, these people. So we all stand. But usually we don't do that. Any other? Yes, Beverly.
I think I found.
What did you find?
The
the line,
Yeah, this is the full Kaddish.
Yes.
And then even for between.
Yeah, here, Titkabel. Let them be accepted the prayers and pleas of all the house of Israel before our parent in heaven. No, but I was talking about this line.
Because over here, it looks like this is the mourner's Kaddish.
Okay, but here what I said, it's missing this line. Titkabel Zloton. So why the rabbis decided to skip this line? Mostly or mainly the rabbis are very sensitive. There is, for example, a line in a special prayer called Hallel that talks about and everybody should be happy, and the dead will resurrect, and there's this, in some traditions there's this concept of resurrection, you say?
Yes, that's the word.
And some people are not comfortable with that, especially in a house of mourning. So that's why the rabbi always makes sure that nobody will feel insulted or upset. So, any question about Kabbalat Shabbat? Clear? So now let's move, after the Kaddish, let's move to our Mariv service. And again, we are going to focus on Shabbat. So, the evening, after we finish with Lecha Dodi, and we recited so we finished with the Lecha Dodi. So what comes first in every service. It's something called Baruch Hu. So Baruch Hu is another prayer that you're going to find it in different places. Where else you say Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Where is that? Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Where?
Oh, that, right.
Where?
When you stand up on the thing.
Yeah, how do we call that?
Analia.
Analia. So, but we are not there yet. But there are some prayers that they are used in different moments. Here, the Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, the same, almost, the same words. It's the call to prayer. So again, they were in the shtetl, or they were about to start the service, and in Jewish tradition, Alens encourage the prayer in groups. So you can pray by yourself, but the rabbis encourage the groupal praying, the experience of praying as a community. So when they say, okay, what is a community? They were like struggling, which number would you consider the minimal to have a community? 10. Why? Why 10? Why is not 9 or 20 or 5 or 100? So there are different, of course, there are different versions. And one version, I mean, there are a lot of different ideas, but they wanted to make sure that a community was made out of 10. So in the old tradition was 10 men. And I don't want to get too much involved in this. We are an egalitarian congregation and we don't make that different. But you should know, if you go, usually, if you go to an Orthodox synagogue, or if you go to an Orthodox Shiva minyan, you might, and probably you experience this, or if not, just so you don't feel uncomfortable, it's important that you know that in the Orthodox tradition, they don't count women. We do.
We already know that. We know that.
And we feel very strong about that. Just that's our state. And so the Baruch Hu is the call to prayer, to have at least, a community. What happens if you don't have a minyan? You skip this line, because it makes no sense to recite it without the community. So you can keep going. If you have 9, you can still do your service, but you skip a few parts of the service. And we're going to talk about that. So this is the first one that you would skip without a minyan. So what comes then after the Baruch Hu? We're going to go just the main blocks. Shema. Again, there are different ways of writing Shema in transliteration. So, you're going to find it with an H or without whatever. So, the Shema is our, and Rabbi Irwin always says, our mission statement. And it's a very simple line, 6 words, Shema Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Maybe today we don't realize how huge is this statement. But in the days of the Torah, this is a line from the Torah to talk about Shema, listen, O Israel. Israel talking to especially the sons of Jacob. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu. God is our God, Adonai is one. So in a time and in a place where people would worship lots of different gods to bring with this revolutionary idea of this one God who was totally ahead of their time. So, of course, you have to be ready to recite the Shema. So there are prayers and blessings introducing the Shema, and there are some blessings leading off the Shema and introducing the next part. So you say the Shema twice a day, evening and morning. And what is the next part, the next main prayer? Amidah. So, we can, usually in a rabbinical school, in cantorial school, you can spend a whole semester or year, whatever, studying only the Amidah. The Amidah is the prayer. Amidah in Hebrew means to stand. La'amod is the root, is to stand. So originally, the rabbis put together a number of blessings that, and again, this is the best, the Siddur, and in this case the Amidah, is a great tool for all of us just to cover all the different aspects of what should be our prayers. On the other hand, it doesn't leave us, there's very, very little space to our personal prayers. So the rabbis believed that when you pray, you should cover all these. I mean, it's like a check-off. It's like, okay, I check this, check that, and there are 18 check-offs that you should do just to cover everything.
What are the
Honest.
What are the checkoffs?
18.
No, there are 18. What are the 18 checkoffs?
Okay, that's why I said that we need a whole semester to go over each of these. The first one starts with Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avoteinu. Praise are you, God, the God of our God and the God of our fathers,
Right.
and we add mothers.
Right.
Eloi Abraham, Eloi Yitzchak, Eloi Yaakov, Eloi Sarah, Eloi Rivka, Eloi Rachel, Eloi Leah. So if you open the Art Scroll, okay, I'm jumping now, but this is very interesting. There is one of the prayer books, this one. So can you find the Amidah, any Amidah? Any Amidah in the Art Scroll. In the Art Scroll, I want to see the language of their Amidah, and this is the prayer book of the Reconstructionist service, the Reconstruction movement. So this is the first, I don't know if the only, but at least as far as I know, the only prayer book that they use. What's the name? Gender sensitive language. Gender sensitive language. What means that? Hebrew.
No, he. No, he.
Yeah, Hebrew is a language where you use masculine and feminine. So when it says Baruch atah Adonai, atah is you, masculine. So our prayers are all masculine oriented. God is always referred as a he. Always. This prayer, let me find here, this prayer book uses different alternatives. And let me find Introduction to the Amidah. And here says, there is a version that says, Baruch at Shekhinah. So instead of atah, uses the feminine you, that is at, and instead of Adonai, uses Shekhinah. Shekhinah, it's the Spirit of God that our tradition puts into a female. So when we talk about the Shekhinah, it's the female part of God, the soul of God. So it's the spirit of God. So I'm curious because here it says Baruch Atah, but I know that there are other parts where they give the option.
And how do they translate? They translate
The translation is, here's the transliteration. What is the translation? Blessed are you, the ancient one. The ancient. The ancient one. It's just our God, God of our ancestors. So could be either way. So they are very careful in the language that they use. And this is the reconstruction. It's the conservative and the reform, still they use the masculine. So did you find any Amidah here?
I have an Amidah right here, but it's...
Yeah, but no, this is, I want to do it in the Orthodox. So, Shacharit weekday. So,
This one.
yeah, but I want to use the okay, so here in the Orthodox Sidur, we have Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Eloi Avoteinu, Eloi Abraham, Eloi Yitzchak, Eloi Yaakov, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor. So blessed are you, Hashem, our God and the God of our forefathers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob. It's not any reference to female. So this is a new thing about this gender sensitive language. So the rabbis put together 18 blessings to cover all the basics. So if you hear Shmone Esre, Shmone Esre is 8.
Isn't the significance of having 18 to...
Excuse me?
Isn't the significance of 18...
Chai. Yeah, Chai, the word Chai, that means life. Every letter in Hebrew you can assign, it has a number assigned. So Chai, it's 18. So of course there is a reason for 18. And so so many people, they don't call it Amidah, they call it the Shmon Esrei. So now let's pray the Shmon Esrei. So, but there are also different versions of the Amidah. So the Shmon Esrei is the weekday Amidah. And the structure there has 3 different blocks. The Avot and Gevurot are the praying for our forefathers and foremothers, and a shield, God as a shield, as a protector of our forefathers and foremothers. And then we have the Kedusha, and then we have every blessing. It's has a different, but most of our, or a lot of our blessings are petitionary blessings. Help us, or please God, do this, do that. The idea is that on Shabbat, you are not supposed to ask for things, because if you ask, that means that somebody, in this case God, has to do something, do work. So on Shabbat, the structure of the Amidah is different, and all these petitionary prayers are just taken away. So instead of 18, take a wild guess. How many blessings would you have on Shabbat? What is the number associated?
7.
7. So on Shabbat, we have 7 blessings instead of the 18 for any regular day. Then on the different holidays, you have also additions for Pesach. Excuse me, when I say holidays, this is important to many times the kids, says, what are the Jewish holidays? And of course, what is the first one that comes? Hanukkah. So Hanukkah, it's a nice, cute holiday. It's totally minor, the same as Purim. There are two totally minor holidays added later on. Do you have any idea when Hanukkah happened? About? So Hanukkah was around the beginning of this era. So was in, I think in minus 70, if I'm not mistaken. But this is around 2,000 years ago when Purim happened. Which one is older, Purim or Hanukkah? Purim. Purim was minus 286. Purim and Hanukkah. Are they mentioned in the Torah? No. So when we talk about, and going back to this, what is the greeting that you mentioned? Good Yom Tov. When we say Yom Tov, Yom Tov, Yom Tov. What means Yom Tov? Yom is
Good day.
and good day. So Yom Tov, Yom Tov are, which holidays are Yom Tovim? What means Yom Tovim? Are the holidays in the Torah, and they have the same level that Shabbat. So it's no work, So what are the holidays? There are three that they go together.
Passover. Yom Kippur.
No. Passover or Pesach. No. Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. So Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot have exactly the same category, the same level. And they were pilgrimage holidays. So they were supposed to pilgrimage and bring their, you say premises? No, primicias. Primicias are their first stuff, their firstborns, their first fruits, their first whatever, and to give it in offering to God. So these are the pilgrimage holidays. Pilgrimage. And then we have Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that they almost go together. Not really, but because of they are closely, so they go together. And there is one more holiday mentioned in the Torah that actually is a half holiday, and that is Rosh Chodesh. So we have Yom Tovim, we have Rosh Hashanah, and then all of these are in the same level. And then one level down is Rosh Chodesh. So let's go back to the Amidah. So there are, what? Of Rosh Chodesh is the beginning of each month. Rosh is like Rosh Hashanah, the head. Chodesh is month. So the Jewish calendar is based on a combination of lunar and solar calendar. So the months are based on the moon. So that's easy. Every time that you see a full moon, that would be always the 14th of each month. So it's no question about it. If you look, oh, what a beautiful full moon, would be the 14th to the 15th of that month. So why is this important? What holidays do you know that comes on the 14th of a month? Pesach, 14th of Nisan. Then we have Rosh Hashanah, Tu Bishvat is in the 14th. There is one more that is coming. So the Pesach, that is the beginning of the first month of the year, the month of Nisan. So Pesach would be on the full moon. So there is a special addition on the Amidah for each of the holidays. Okay? So the Amidah, it's our, with the Shema, there are our two main prayers. But the Amidah is what makes a service a service. So the Amidah you're going to find in every single service. So how many services do we say that we have? We have the first service of the day would be Mariv, and so we have an Amidah on Mariv. What is the next service on? Let's talk about Shabbat. The next service would be Shacharit. We have an Amidah. What is the next service on Shabbat? Musaf. We have the Amidah for Musaf.
Quick question. Did Freda leave her planning book here? She was called me. She was looking for her planning book. It was in the room. Anyone see it?
No.
Okay. I'll look someplace else. I'm sorry to disturb you.
Yeah, in fact, it's 10 to 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
The last service is Mincha.
So Musaf we have, and the next service is Mincha. So there is something special about, and let me explain this because it's important. Many times you're going to attend a bar mitzvah, and they call it Avdalah. Oh, that is the other service. That is not a service. Avdalah. Do you know what is Avdalah? Avdalah is a ceremony, not a service. A ceremony to mark the end of Shabbat. Why is not a service? Because it doesn't have a Amidah. So it's just a nice, beautiful ceremony. Right? It's not a formal service. So you're going to hear about, what time are we?
11:45 is supposed to.
So we are already, okay,
yeah.
so let me wrap it up with, if you hear a bar mitzvah, Avdalah, I mean, it's wrong, it's not an Avdalah. Well, what makes a bar mitzvah is the youngster called to the Torah and say the blessings over the Torah. When can a bar mitzvah happen? Any time that we read, that we take out the Torah, anytime. You can have a bar mitzvah on a Monday morning, on a Thursday morning, on any holiday, because we read the Torah, on Shabbat morning, when usually our a bar mitzvah held, or on a Shabbat afternoon. So it's wrong when you say bar mitzvah Avdalah, because the Avdalah is just the ceremony. What makes the possibility, opens the possibility of having a bar mitzvah on a Shabbat afternoon, is that there is the tradition of reading Torah on the Mincha service on Shabbat. So why do we read that? So the rabbi said, okay, so we read the entire parsha. What is the parsha?
The portion of the week.
The entire portion, the weekly Torah portion. So they said, we have a little extra time on Shabbat. So when Shabbat is ending, let's have a taste of next week Torah portion. So we have again a short reading of the Torah. In many occasions, I don't want to make my own, to do that, so I'm trying to keep it very objective. Thank you. The service is shorter, not that shorter, but the service is a little shorter, and in some cases it's easier for different logistics, whatever, to have a bar mitzvah on a Saturday afternoon during the mincha service, because we read Torah. Any questions? Excellent. So next week, can you, I don't know, I hope that this was recording. Let me check. Yes.